Now we are going to discuss the topic teaching learning material in English. So as we know the importance of English language, so this language should be effective to the learners, especially from the school level. If there were no TLM which were used by the teacher in the classroom may not be the effective classroom. So to make the English classroom more efficient and more effective to the learners, so the teacher has to prepare and concentrate on the TLM, teaching learning material. So this TLM is going to be make a lot of helpful in learning the English language. We look into the objectives. To develop suitable teaching aids and kits for promoting language learning. This is one of the major objective of introducing teaching learning material. So here, based on that, the suitable teaching learning materials or the teaching aids, and which may be in the form of like language kits for promoting language learning. So, and the coming to next objective, to develop new materials to supplement prescribed material. So based on the content, here we have to look into the age factor of the student as well as the worth of the content. Based on that, the TLM should be prepared. So look into that the teaching learning material part, exactly what are the required TLM is for explain student in a effective manner. And coming to next one is to know the importance and proper use of the chalkboard. So this is a very common TLM which will be available in all the classrooms. So without chalkboard or the blackboard, there is no classroom. So here the usage of the blackboard should be in a proper way to make the class as very effective one. So this is a common TLM which will be available in all the classrooms. And next one is importance of understanding teaching learning material for teacher and learner. So here as a teacher or English language teacher and the learner should come to know the importance of TLM. So here then only they'll concentrate on the preparation of different types of teaching learning material. So these type of TLM is going to make the importance as well as making the classroom as very effective classroom, so that all the learners are going to become as a active participant. So here the language teacher has to focus more on the, instead of teacher centered, they have to focus on the child centric education. So whatever the concept were taught by the student, especially in the language teaching class, that should be delivered in a proper way, so that the class will be or the content will be understood by the learners. And the importance of computers and other audio-visual aids also available. Right now we are having a lot of development in science and technology part. So especially a simple example of computers. So these computers are going to be helpful as a TLM, and which is giving proper guidance to the student. So the computers are as well as the audio-visual aids are making available in the present generation. So these must be available in the classroom in a proper way. So before introducing these computers to students and audio-visual aids by the language teacher, so as a teacher they must know something about the computers and how it should be utilized for the teaching English language. Just we take example of grammar. So what way computers are going to be helpful to the students, and coming to the audio-visual aids, in what way how the slides should be prepared and how the recording should be done, these all will be aware of the teacher. Then they can explain to the students in a proper way. Once the knowledge is clear with the students, teacher, then they'll explain all the concepts in a proper way. And teaching learning materials occupy a pivotal position in the education system. So the classroom is meant to the child-centric education. So the child-centric education is possible if whatever the concept was taught by the teacher, that should be effectively learned by the students. Then only the class will be effective. So this TLM is making one of the useful pivotal position in the education system to make the classroom more effective classroom. And some TLMs are exclusively meant for teachers and some are useful for learners. And few TLMs we can concentrate, it is going to be helpful for both the learner and the teacher. So here there is a categorization of the teaching learning material. So coming to some teaching learning materials, especially that is meant to teachers, and some TLM that is meant for the student, as well as coming to the some TLM, it is going to be helpful for both the teacher as well as the learner. For example, you take the textbook. This is a good teaching aid which should be available with the subject teacher as well as the learners. So coming to entering into this TLM preparation, we have to focus more on the what exactly the TLM is required, what type of curriculum is included for the standard of the student. So before that, we have to know what do you mean by the curriculum. So the curriculum is a specific to a course of study. So here we have to find the difference between curriculum and the syllabus. So the first one is talking about the curriculum. Curriculum is specific to a course of study. It is a specific for what? For the course of a study. In which course you are doing and you are studying in which class, that will be very clear in the curriculum. Based on that, the curriculum construction will be done. The curriculum is highly inclusive and includes everything learners do during the course. So in the curriculum part, it is a highly inclusive and it includes, the curriculum includes everything learners do during the course. So the total outline will be given in the particular period of the course at that particular age. What the child should learn, what they have to learn, they should perfect with what type of concepts. These all will be very clear through the curriculum. So the curriculum is a specific to a course of study. For example, the students were studying B.Ed course or diploma in elementary. So the curriculum is designed in that manner. And the curriculum is like highly inclusive and it is including everything learners do during the course. So here the curriculum is making all the learners to practice whatever the syllabus, whatever the curriculum is included, whatever the content is included in that during the course. So curriculum is a very comprehensive term. So here to fulfill the objective of that particular course content, here the curriculum is termed as the comprehensive term, and also it is nothing but the means here some scholar opined that curriculum is a blueprint which is giving complete blueprint, or it is an overall plan of that particular course or that particular classroom. So the curriculum is a overall plan. Coming to the next related term for the curriculum is syllabus. So the syllabus is a specific to a course and a group of students. So the syllabus is a specific, it is also a specific to a particular course and a group of students. Syllabus considered as specific list of teaching items. Exactly looking into the curriculum part, that is focusing on introduction to, for example, in methods of teaching English, it is going to start from the introduction part to what type of methods we have to follow and what are the planning should be done and what type of vocabulary we have to make them students to learn and what type of structures the student has to learn and what way we have to prepare the period plan, annual plan, and also coming to the question paper preparation and announcing the results and the evaluation part. These all will be added as a part of curriculum. Whereas coming to the syllabus part, for example, in that curriculum, we have one unit, one syllabus is talking about methods and approaches. So in this, the syllabus considered as a specific list of teaching item. Based on the content, based on the subject, we have to focus on what type of methods we have to teach to the students based upon the content. And some scholars also defined that the syllabus as a specific list of teaching item. Whereas coming to the curriculum, as explained by some scholars, like it is an overall plan. Curriculum is an overall plan. Whereas coming to the syllabus, it is as a specific list of teaching items. So in the methods and approaches for teaching, structures and vocabulary, we have to follow certain specific items which is comfortable to teach to the student based on the subject or based on the content. So that is the difference between curriculum and syllabus. But simultaneously we are using the term curriculum as syllabus. So both the curriculum and syllabus have a similar structure. So these curriculum and syllabus begin with identifying or describing the learners. So The curriculum and the syllabus both are going to identifying or describing the learner. So these 2 points were focusing on the learner. So these two are based on the child-centric education system. And the learner carry their identity in terms of age group to which they belong. So here once they are planning the syllabus or once they are constructing the curriculum, the experts has to concentrate on few areas. Then only the curriculum construction is going to give a sufficient result to the system. So here the learner carry their identity in terms of age group. That was the first factor which we have to look into, concentrate on while framing curriculum or syllabus. So the age group to which they belong, whether the child is 12 plus years, whether the child is 15 plus years, that we have to concentrate before constructing curriculum or framing the syllabus. And also the learner's socio-economic and educational background. So here the textbook is also one of the considered as the TLM, teaching learning material, which is going to be helpful to the learners as well as to the teacher. So here based on the socio-economic and educational background. For example, while looking into the textbook part, so we have to concentrate on the learner's socio-economic status to purchase the book, whether the book is affordable by the learner or not. At the same time, the book has to follow certain rules and regulations based on the cost and the same time educational background. If the book cost is very high, automatically the child may not in a position to afford that book. At the same time, the educational background. If the book is consisted with a highly standardized book, if the book is not considered the age factor, if it is constructed instead of 12 plus years, that is like 7th class, if the standard has given 10th class for 12 plus students, automatically they are going to feel difficult in learning the language. So here the educational background is also the important one, and the child is with the 7th class, 12 plus years, then they have to look into the what type of family background they are having. Means here the parents were educated, or anybody is going to give any suggestions toward the education, or are they any person is going to clarify their doubts. These all we have to look into consideration. And introducing TLM and introducing the content also based on the convenient, and that should not cost much, so that every child is going to prepare their TLM. They are trying to prepare on their own. That type of motivation should be provided by the language teacher. And the next, learners age group and background also help in developing proper materials for teaching. So once we have the criteria of the age factor as well as the background, these all also helping the learners in preparation of the TLM for teaching. So based on the standard of the student, the TLM should be prepared. Then only it is going to become as a meaningful TLM to explain the concepts. So here the learners identify and learners need lead to frame a set of objectives. So here the ultimate aim of the curriculum or ultimate aim of the syllabus is achieving the objectives. So the ultimate aim of curriculum or syllabus is to achieve the objectives. So to achieve these certain objectives, here the learner should identify and learner's needs. These are very, very important one in achieving the objective. So for example, whatever the language they learn, or for example, we look into the structure and vocabulary. So whatever the structure they learn as a part of subject, that should be utilized in their day-to-day life, which is like active vocabulary or usage of the active forms. And the terms they are learning, different types of vocabulary they are having with them, that vocabulary should be utilized by their day-to-day life. Then only the language learning will be getting as success. So these are nothing but the achieving certain objectives. So the learner's identity and learner's needs, these are very, very important one while framing the objectives. So the objectives are also called as terminal behavior of learners, learning outputs at the end of the course. So ultimate aim or the ultimate goal of syllabus or curriculum is achieving the objectives. Whatever the objectives are framed, that should be achieved. So here the objectives are also called as terminal behavior of learner, the terminal behavior of the learner, and learning outputs at the end of the course. So by completing their standard of the age, for example 15 years or 14 years, they have to finish the course objectives like 14 plus years or 15 plus years. What exactly the content is prescribed for them, that should be fulfilled. Then only the particular objective will be fulfilled or achieve that particular objective. If the objectives were not fulfilled by completion of that particular course, definitely it is going to become as a failure of the subject. So the objectives are stated to fulfill the learner's needs to the best possible extent. So maximum possibility we have to focus on achieving the objectives. So here the objectives are stated to fulfill the learner's needs. So what exactly the learner needs in the initial stages after completion of the schooling, what they require, the usage of the minimum structures and vocabulary. They must be in a position to communicate the language, whatever they want to express. So that is one of the objective or the criteria in introducing the language. So that need should be fulfilled. Then only it is considered as the successful of the objective. And objectives can be stated in behavioral terms as well as in cognitive terms. So here the objective fulfillment is concentrated on achieving all the aspects of the language. So not only you are looking into the behavioral terms, we have to concentrate on the cognitive terms also. So whatever the objectives they learn, the objective should exhibit. So the output of the objective, the first one is talking about all objectives should be observable. So whatever the objectives they learn, that should be observable. And the next one is talking about all objectives should be measurable. What they learn. So what they learn, that should be expressed when they have an opportunity to speak out. At the time they have to share, that is measurable. So if the child is in a position to talk for 2 minutes or 3 minutes, whatever the content is given to the student, definitely we can measure, yes, the student had learned something. Based on that, we can measure that exactly the objective were achieved or not. And the next one is all objectives should be practical, which is nothing but implementation in their day-to-day life. The learning subject or the language is different and usage or the practical is the different one. So here these objectives must make the learner, that should be as a part of practical. So once we have to concentrate on these three types of objectives which is exhibiting. The first one is all objectives should be observable, in what extent they learned. And next one is all objectives should be measurable. The objective should be measurable, in what extent they learned. And the next one is all objectives should be practical. That should be as a part of implementation. Just it is not only restricted to writing of examination or reading the textbook. That should be utilized in their day-to-day life. To fulfill the objectives, the focus must be on curriculum and syllabus. So the objectives, automatically we have to focus on curriculum and syllabus. So based on the age and economic background of the student, the objectives were prepared, and at the same time the curriculum and syllabus are also framed based on the standard of the student. So here the ultimate aim of the objective is focusing on the curriculum and syllabus must be fulfill the objective. In that manner, the syllabus construction or the curriculum construction should be done. Curriculum and syllabus deals with content and its organization. So here we are talking about the curriculum and syllabus, which is the textbook, which is dealing with the content and its organization. So here the content organization is very important one while constructing the curriculum or syllabus. Based on the student standard or the age factor, we have to consider, and we have to organize the content in those manner. So here we look into the initial stages of the schooling, learning especially the second language or the foreign language, that should start from the simple to complex. So that should start from the simple to complex, so that the student may not feel any difficult in learning the English language. So here we have to follow simple to complex. So at any cost, the student should not feel learning English language as a burden. So these points we have to focus on while constructing the curriculum and syllabus. So the curriculum and syllabus deals with content and its organization. So based on the gradation, based on gradings, based on the standards, we have to increase the worth or the complexity level of the subject. So at any cost, it should not create any burden to the learners. So the content organization varies according to the nature of the syllabus. The organization of the content is according to the nature of the syllabus. So here the principle used in content organization are called selection and gradation. So here we have to focus on the selection and gradation. So look into the selection. So the selection is nothing but what it is that the learners want, exactly what the learner wants. For example, here we are focusing on an example like it is like food. It is like giving food to a child. So in the basic level, when the child is around 3+ or 5+ years, so we have to, as a parent, we have to look into that, what type of food we have to provide for them. We have to look into that. Once they are at age of 10+ or 12+ or 15 years, obviously they know what food exactly they require. So here based on that, they are going to select what type of food they require and what way it is going to be helpful them in giving energy. So here they are looking into the word like selection. So whatever the requirement, based on they are going to select the food item or type of food. So here like syllabus also based on the what it is that the learner want. Based on the initial stage of the schooling, we have to make them to attract towards the classroom. So before the classroom, we have to make the learner or the small child to the school. So the school obviously making the child to feel some like phobia. So here that phobia should be come out. So in the initial we are introducing them like rhyming poems, or the giving more activity based like playing in the ground and providing toys. So this is nothing but a technique which we are following to attract towards the classroom. So once they were attracted, definitely we have to concentrate on introducing the content part by the alphabets or by giving more pictures. These all making them to feel more convenient, like the classroom is also like home environment. So based on that we have to select the topics. And next one is gradation. So these are the two major parts we have to look into the curriculum and the syllabus part. So the gradation, it is from simple to complex or known to unknown. So then only the learner will not feel any difficult in learning the language. So here the introduction of the syllabus or the introduction of the curriculum should be from simple to complex or known to unknown. So in general, the students feel more happy with giving more number of examples or by telling the stories, especially we are talking about the language part. So here in the initial, we have to make the student attract to the classroom by telling the stories or by giving more number of examples. So based on the examples, we can make the child towards exactly what you want to teach. For example, examples to formulae. So here in the initial stages, here we have two types of introduction of this part, inductive method and deductive method. So in one aspect, we are making the student by giving more examples. After the perfection with examples, they are having complete idea about that. Then we are dragging and introducing the formula. In other case, initial only the teacher writes the formula on the blackboard, and next based on the formula, giving more examples. So based on the topic, the teacher can follow either inductive method or the deductive method. So in the gradation also, it is a simple to complex. We have to make the student introducing English language structures from simple to complex. So in the initial we have to start with subject plus verb plus form. This is very simple. Subject plus verb plus form. Rama killed Ravana. It is in a simple structure or the simple sentence. Based on that we can make them to drag how this is in the direct form, how it could be in the indirect form, and what type of statement it is and what type of question forming it is. And next time based on these example we can make them to introduce the articles, and these all the different parts of speeches we can take help of this, making the student to feel convenient in learning the language. So that is the selection and the gradation part which we look into the curriculum and the syllabus. So here now that we are talking about all the way we are talking about the importance of teaching learning material, especially to teaching English language. So here as a teacher we have to maintain some language kits which should be available based on the standard of the student. So in the initial stages we can have some toys to attract the student or to initiate them to participate in the classroom. So here the English language kit. So we learn English to communicate. So what is the importance of language? So the importance of language is to communicate with others or to express our ideas and needs, to share our emotions. So for that we need a language. So the language may be either mother tongue or English or any other language, other regional language. But the ultimate aim of language is the message should be conveyed from sender to receiver in a meaningful manner. So here the language is also helping us to communicate with others. So what we are communicating? Our ideas, our emotions, feelings, expression, these all we are expressing to others. So for all this we need to use a language in a natural manner. So here nobody should not warn us, or nobody should not force us to speak the language. So here that should come as a natural. It should come as a natural phenomena. Just like the mother tongue learning is like natural phenomena. As Noam Chomsky said that it's learning a language is like natural phenomena. How the growth will happen for the born child up to the end of the life. How the natural growth happens. Like the language learning is also like natural. So here nobody should not instruct or nobody should not force us to speak. So that should come out with their inner, that should come out with their natural. So like in the language teacher, they can have some simple kits in the school premises or in the classroom. So like by having some old stamps or flashcards or the old receipts. So by looking into that, they can prepare or they can give more number of exercises. For example, old receipts. So the receipts may be different types of receipts. So what way it is going to give exercise to the student? What exactly the concept we want to teach to the student? We can take help of such receipts or stamps or the flashcards. These, with the help of all these TLMs, we can make the language classroom as very effective classroom. The flashcards and the stamps or the old receipts or papers, these all we can have in the classroom, and different types of color papers, these all will be available in the classroom. And the next one, most important and a very common TLM in the classroom is the chalkboard. So it is necessary to learn to use the chalkboard effectively. It is necessary to use chalkboard effectively is very, very important for the language teacher. So the chalkboard is the cheapest and most useful tool to bring about stimulus variation. So before going to start the classroom teaching, the teacher has to write something on the blackboard. For example, before going to introduce the topic, the teacher has to motivate the students or stimulate the students by asking some questions, by asking some simple questions. So based on that, every student is going to have attracted towards the subject teacher. So sometimes that answers maybe we can write it on the blackboard. So the blackboard usage is very, very important one from the class beginning to end of the class. So a chalkboard needs to be used systematically. So this is one of the technique as a teacher, we must be in a position to know the usage of the chalkboard, and whatever the words are required, immediately we have to write it on the blackboard, and whatever the points or whatever the letters we are writing on the blackboard, that should be visible to all the student. Minimum font size we have to maintain while writing on the blackboard. So the chalkboard is a device that can help the teacher in exploring concepts by drawing illustrations or figures. Sometimes if we want to explain to the student with the help of substitution table, so on the spot the teacher can prepare a substitution table on the blackboard, and he can make the exercise to the students how to match all this to frame the new sentences. So to give more number of examples or illustrations, the teacher has to take the help of chalkboard or the blackboard. And figures, we can have some simple figures with the straight lines or with curved lines, so that easily we can draw it on the blackboard, so that the child is having attention towards this, and they'll come to know how we can prepare the diagrams or the figures. So practically they are looking into the teacher and they are learning. So the chalkboard is also helping the learner in taking down the notes easily. So the teacher is writing structures on the blackboard, the teacher is writing important meanings on the blackboard, the teacher is writing synonymous words or antonymous words, a prefix, suffix, whatever the grammar part is there, that the teacher writes on the blackboard. So that will be copied by the students easily once we have taken help of the chalkboard. And next, chalkboard is a very good mnemonic device to recapitulate or consolidate the lesson. So after completion of the lesson, if the teacher want to go for the recapitulation part for the few minutes, then at the time the students can take help of blackboard, and whatever the important points they learn and whatever the difficult words were there, that can be helpful for the learner. So here the chalkboard is a good mnemonic device to recapitulate or consolidate the lesson. Looking into that, they are going to frame the sentences and they are going to give the reply answer. So this is about the chalkboard. And the next one more TLM is overhead projectors, OHP, overhead projectors. So these are popular in high-end schools and colleges in India. Initially, after Blackboard and all this, we can concentrate on these overhead projectors. So these overhead projectors are like electronic devices which can bring about several manipulations and also possible to take printout of summary. So once we prepare these overhead projector sheets, it is going to be helpful for us for the longer generations. And at the same time, by taking help of these PowerPoint, these projector slides or the sheets, it is going to be save time for the language teacher. Instead of preparing slides or the sheets, they can concentrate more on the explanation part or giving more number of examples. So these projectors or overhead projector is like it is an electronic device which can bring about several manipulations and also possible to take printout of the summary. So all the way it is going to be benefit compared to the others like chalkboard. And next one is computer aided instruction. So the computer is a tool that can supply the needed information and contribute to advance in virtually all the fields. So as we know the importance of technology for the present generations, so here the computer usage of the in the classroom is also increased. So to make our classroom as more effective, we have to depend on the computers. So the computer is also like a electronic device. It is acting as a tool that can supply the needed information and contribute to advance in virtually for the all the fields. So the computers are acting like it's a friendly and helpful, and tell us what to do if something goes wrong. So here the computers are acting for the learners as a friend. So the friend, obviously whatever the mistake they had done, they are going to do the correction, and at the same time if they are helpful. So like the computers also friendly and helpful to tell us what to do if something goes wrong. So if the learner is typing on the computer, typing something on the text or whatever it may be. Sometimes if the letters were missed, we had missed the letters or typed as wrong. Okay, so immediately it was indicated with the red mark. It will be indicated as red mark. So it is telling that some mistake will be there. So immediately we can go for the correction part. So there it will ask whether it will be ignored or whether it will be changed. So it is like giving help for the whatever the spelling you typed. It is whether it is right or wrong. And sometimes whatever we are typing, it will shown as a green line. The line will be green color. If it is red color means it is error, spelling mistake will be there. If it is like a green color line, it is indicating that some grammatical error was there. So we can take help of the computer and immediately we can rectify those grammatical errors. So all the way the computers are helping for the learners, friendly and helpful. Next, computers can teach grammar and vocabulary using a series of interactive exercises. So here the computers teaching us the grammar as well as the vocabulary. So if we have typed, if we are not that much having word power, definitely the computer will help us what type of word we can use. So that suggestion will be given by the computer as a part of learning the language. And at the same time we can have more interactive exercises. So here to make the computer as very friendly to the learner. So the thing is in the language classroom we have to provide the language activities which is based on the computers. And at the same time the computers also making the learners how to pronounce the word, and what way we can pronounce the word. This clarity will be given. So that should be available with the help of computers. Next, looking into the radio. So the radio was an instrument that facilitated communication between two points that were not physically connected with wires. So here the radio in those days, in the initial ages, we have the radio system. So that is acting as a like instrument. Even the nowadays also we are having radios which is telecasting the classes to the learners, and they are going to give some suggestions which is talking about the education part, and all the experts lectures will be available in radio. So here the thing is only the voice message will be delivered in the through radios. Coming to the tape recorders. So the radio lessons were taped and used uniformly across large areas of the state. So once we have the radio with us, definitely whatever the timing or whatever the slot is given, at that particular time only the lecture or the topic will be available in the radio. Whereas coming to the tape recorder, so once we had recorded, definitely we can avail that opportunity for when and wherever we require. That is the advancement for that. So if we want to listen the repeated class for more number of times, definitely we can take help of the tape recorder. So coming to the computer as acting as a TLM, which is more useful in the nowadays. So whatever the topic you are saying, that you can make in the form of like PowerPoint presentations. So the PPTs are more useful in these days to explain topic to the learner. So here the computers are making all the way the classroom as very interesting one. So not only the text, it is not only providing the text, it is also providing like pictures. The related pictures also available by taking help of the computers. We can take from the internet source, or even once we are preparing the PowerPoint presentation also, at the time we have an option of clip art. The clip art option is giving whatever the picture you want, just we have to type it. So obviously it is going to give types of pictures exactly related to that. So these all the advantages we have through the computers. And the same time the advancement of the computers, like we are in those days we have to focus more on the like social media. Now we have the Facebook or Twitter or Mocha and Live Mocha. These all the different socio technology part we are available. Social media is also having in these days. So we can take help of the social media also to make the classroom as very effective one. So the computers are taking a crucial role, and also these computers are making the teacher to save the time. Once we had prepared the slides for the PowerPoint presentation or as a document, so that document we can give it for the long time and we can preserve for the next classes also, so that it is saving time of the teacher. And the same time, every child will show interest to learn through the computers. So even if we assign work to the students also, they'll try to prepare their slides on their own. At least minimum they'll try to prepare on their own, and based on that they'll try to explain. So this is all talking about the importance of the computers. So and along with this we have the slide projectors could project visual pictures for the whole class viewing. So sometimes we can take help of the slide projectors. So these projectors are providing the visual pictures for the whole class viewing, so that they are coming to know, having some extent better for the other like usage of the chalkboard or the tape or the radio. So the slide projectors could project visual pictures. So the visual pictures are very interesting to the students. So for the whole class viewing. And photographs could be converted into slides and projected to the whole class. So sometime if we have a rare photographs of some sceneries or some experts or some great personalities or the like social reformers photography, so that photograph we can convert them into slides. We can convert the photography into slides, and that can be projected to the whole class, so that what are the changes were taken place and what way the technology is helping in learning the language. So these days the students are very interested in learning the language through the computers. So the photograph also is going to be helpful, and we can convert that into the slides which we want to project to the whole class. So the photography may not possible for all the students, so that we can convert as a slide part, then that will be projected to the whole class. So today computers have replaced all these equipments and all the functions performed by the computer. So in those days we used to have radio, tape recorder, and also we have nowadays we have the computer. So these computers are replacing all the equipments and all the functions performed by the computer. So the radio work is done by the computers, and the tape recorder work is done by the computer, and the television work is done by the computer. And whenever we require, we can avail such type of facility through the computer. So all the way the computers are very helpful for the learner. So now we are talking about the teaching learning materials. The most effective and useful TLM in these days are the computers. So the computers is having their prominent role in the education system. So a computer can present program called PowerPoint presentation. So here we have in the PowerPoint programs, we have different types of options. So in this, especially for the classroom teaching to the education system, we have to be aware of the PowerPoint presentation. So the slide preparation in the computers is one of the interesting tool or the interesting TLM for the presentation part. So by using these PowerPoint presentation, a teacher can bring in the effect of an overhead projector or video or slide projector and tape record. So these PowerPoint presentation is making all the overhead projector or video or slide projector or tape record. So these all will be having more effective to the computers. So this is the importance of computers, and as we have to make the classroom as very effective one, we have to concentrate on the preparation of the TLM. So the TLM preparation is very, very important one. And one more thing the teacher has to observe that, so the preparation of the TLM should be very less cost. They should not feel any burden or the financial burden to the student. So the TLM preparation should be with less cost, If it is possible, we can make the student to prepare the TLM with the unused or the waste material. So as a part of the subject, we have like 𝗧𝗦𝗹𝗶, socially useful productive work. So the main intention of the 𝗧𝗦𝗹𝗶 is just we have to concentrate on the unused material or the waste material. So we have to bring it to the like useful material. So whatever the possibility. So that point we have to keep in the mind and try to prepare the TLM. At the same time, as a language teacher, we have to give importance for the like whatever the TLM available for the students, that we have to avail them in a proper way. The resources what they have, that should be availed in a proper way. That we have to keep in the mind. At the same time, the language teacher has to guide the students in a proper way in preparation of the TLM. So here they can take help of chart paper. So actually the chart is not the TLM, it is an instant TLM. If the time is not sufficient, at the time we have to prepare a chart. So that time we can take the help of chart. So instead of that, we have to focus more on the cardboard, or we can go for the other unused material. It's going to be helpful for the preparation of TLM. And while preparation of the TLM should exactly reflect the concept or the topic. So the suitable TLM usage is very, very important one, and preparation should be interpret like the concept should be delivered by looking into the TLM. So that we have to focus on. So instead of explaining through the general classroom or like lecture method, the usage of the TLM is more effective to the learners. So these are the benefits of usage of the language learning. So for sake of that, as a teacher, we have to concentrate and we have to think about the resources, and that resources must be availed in a proper way so that the classroom will be very effective. So once they have an aware of the preparation of the TLM, all the time the child or the learner is in a position to think about how to prepare the TLM. Whatever the material is available for them, obviously they'll try to convert it into usage of the TLM. So whatever the possibilities are there at home, any unused material, that will be focused or that will be converted by the learner as a TLM. Not only for the language, in other subjects also they are trying to concentrate on preparation of the TLM. So the TLM is very, very important one in our day-to-day life. So as a part of this, the student will conclude that the TLM's importance in our learning is very, very essential. So they are coming to know, and the usage of the TLM is making the learners as more effective for the in the olden days, the education system was started with only the teacher-centric education. So at the time, there was no usage of the TLM. So whatever the teacher explains, that should be followed by the learners. So without having any textbook or without having any notebook or any other TLM, just only recitation process will be there. Based on that, the learning was taken place. Later, so many committees and commissions were recommended, and lot of developmental activities were taken place towards the development of education, as well as introducing the English language to make the language classroom or other subject classroom that should be like child-centric education. So coming to the teacher-centric education, the student part is only the passive listeners. So whatever the teacher explains, that should be listened or the learned by the listener or the student. Then they have to recite and recapitulate whatever they learn. Only the passive listener place was given to the learners. So like developmental aspects towards the education system was modified. The classroom or the education system is meant not for the teachers, that is meant only for the student or the learner centric. So based on that, all the educational experts were concentrated on giving more importance for the child-centric, the learner-centric education. So in the learner-centric education, the learner should participate as a active participants. So the active participation of the learner is possible in the classroom. Definitely that is going to become as a effective classroom. So to make all the learners as very active participant for the teacher convenience in teaching the language. So here they can make into different groups, 5 members as a group or 10 members as a group by assigning more number of activities. So these activities are making the learner to participate, and every child is trying to contribute on their own. So that is the importance of making into groups. And the same time giving tasks or giving activities or giving some practical exercises. So these all making the learners to avoid or the phobia of the language learning. So here we come to know that here the TLM is taking a crucial role for the language learning. So the textbook is one of the simple and easiest TLM for each and everyone, as well as in the classroom the common TLM is chalkboard. Along with this, we have sometimes we have to depend on the other TLMs. The TLMs like some are based on the electronic devices. So here these days the computers are occupied a lot of prominent role in the which is dominated or already the overhead projectors or slide preparation or slide projector or radio, tape recorder and all those. So the computer are given lot of importance teaching the TLM. We can take help of those and we can educate the learners towards the development of the technology, so that the student will come to know the importance of the TLM in learning the language. Thank you.